Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna be doing something a little bit more different, if you know what I mean. Anyways, we're gonna be talking about character design. Well, not technically, but like giving your character a backstory, giving them a design, what purpose, and personality, all those good kinds you would like in a character from a TV show, or a movie, or a game, blah 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 blah. So, yes, before we begin, I just want to say something that I'm not an experienced person, okay? I don't know, like, all those things I just said a few minutes ago. I'm not like an experienced person. I'm just going off on what I learned throughout the years of being on the internet. And if you see these thumbnails right here, if you want to go watch one of any of these guys, you know, about building characters or anything, or character designs, make sure to give them a check out. So yes, let's begin with, before you start like an actual like story and everything, and all this and that, you gotta have a main character, or a sort of amount of characters if you want. So let's say if you were creating a series and you wanted to create a character, what unique qualities would you put as a character? So as you see here, we're gonna list a couple of things that a character, or maybe you may want in a character. So let's see, if you're creating a character, it can be male or female or whatever, then you would put like, oh, what's their favorite color, color that represents them. It could be any color in the color wheel. It could be like blue, pink, or green, or any color that comes to mind. Once you got that, then it would be the sort of like style of like the clothing of the character. So like, what are you into? Like, what sort of like shoes and just like clothing in general, like the style that you like, add it to your character. It gives them more of like a unique design and what makes them stand out. And then I would probably say like their personality is probably their like important ones, because you have to make this character stand out and different from all the other characters. So doing that, you would give them, any kind of personality that you would like. Like, for example, if I had a character who is like funny and goofy and silly, then that would be their entire personality. You would basically write this character as, sometimes or in some moment they'll have a goofy moment or a goofy segment. Or they'll just say something randomly that just makes like your character and who they are and their things and all that. The next step is to probably, it's one of my favorites of making characters, but the drawing stage. The drawing stage is always usually my favorite stage. So I'm going to show you an example, one of my characters who is a villain, and I'll give you some details about her. So here we have one of my characters. She is a villain. I don't have a name for her right now, but we'll call her May for now. Her background and everything is that she's a villain and she wants to control time itself. So she had so in the past she had like this thing with this guy, and he betrayed her, and that made her get into like some crazy shenanigans, and she wanted everything. She was just angry at the guy. So then later down the line, the guy works with this other guy, and they both work together to defeat her and put her in a timeline slope or time warp, whatever you want to call it, and she gets lost in time. Makes it stand out. So if you see with her, I kind of tried giving her like a smirk. This is the first time I've ever done this. It's kind of like eyeshadow or eyeliner, whatever the girls do. I do sometimes put like lipstick on them, but this one kind of fits it. You can kind of see how I drew like her hair and everything. It's not like smooth and like drawn kind of like how the way I do it's a little bit more blocky. You can kind of see that her design, she's kind of wearing like this cape or this cloth around her with an armor piece. There's a lot of like things connected, like she's wearing those like cutout gloves, a little punch thing, and then her clock earrings, and a symbol, something that makes a character like stand out. Like she's wearing all this thing, she's wearing all these things around her legs, basically things that make a character stand out and what makes her different from like the others. I would say the personality I gave her is basically, she's kind of like the smart one, but sometimes she hates technology. So she's kind of like an oldie person. She likes to do things the old-fashioned way, but you know, she just likes doing it the old-fashioned way. Sometimes she can be a little bit too confident, and sometimes her things go as wrong. They don't go as like planned. So yeah, the things of like, you know, making a character for your story is, you know, first, you know, you gotta have great personality. It's up to you. It's really like your character, so you know, you get to choose, you know, what personality you get. You know, something that represents her. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be like necessarily color, but you can, it's necessarily like what does this character like represent? You can like put any like symbols or like any bracelets or anything to the character. Fashion, the clothing, you know, it's whatever you want. Just something that makes it like unique, that stands out to like people, kind of like TV shows. And you know, just our overall design, you know, this is my art style I just showed you. You know, whatever art style you have, you know, it works well with any art style. You know, it really just depends on like what you want, as you want the character when you're making it. I mean, it is your character, so you do the best you can, and you know, whatever art style you go with, or you know how to do it, you know, I'm pretty sure in the near future, or even now, if you want to start making a character after watching this video, which thank you, yeah, it really comes down to like you when you come and create characters. Like these three right here, like you see, the difference between these two is they're wearing kind of like the similar outfits, but their hairs and their expressions are different. Same thing with the little cat here, or even these two kind of similar characters but have different features that make them stand out from one another. But anyways, yeah guys, this was the end of the video. I hope you all enjoy it, and see you guys next time.